screen. Thank you very much. So everybody, I would love us to open our Tableau so that we can continue from where we stopped. Okay. Please confirm you can see my screen.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Good evening again. I'll just refresh a bit on what we did the last time. And for us to get back to our previous visualization, please let's open our Tableau public, click on File, come to Open from Tableau public, come to Open from Tableau public. It will ask you to sign in. Once you log in, the particular data we're working on, you would see the name you used in saving yours. You can just open that so we can continue using it. So you don't have to load in the data set again because we had it saved the last time. So please, if we have our tablet open, can we signify so that we can move on? Thank you. So click on File, Open from Tablet Public, then open your workbook. From there, then we can continue. Do we all have our workbook opened?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much for responding. Okay, in the last class, we introduced ourselves to Tableau, and we had a few things we did on it. And in the last class, we created an hierarchy. We created one for the category and the subcategory. We named it an item, and then we created location hierarchy, and we moved our country, state, city, postal code into it, and we created our region from the states because the states makes up a region. So, and then we created our first visualization, which is the sales of the categories of the items we would produce as an organization. And yeah, there's something I forgot to talk about the last time. It's this ascending and descending button just right beside each other. If for example we want to leave the product in from the least to the highest, we can select this sorted ascending button. But if we want the product to be from the highest to the lowest, we can use the other button. And also there is this button right beside it. It's a swap rows and columns button. If we want to, for example, if we want to swap the rows for the columns, it would swap it, and it can swap it back to you can swap it back to how it was. So all of these buttons, they have their functions and what they do in our visualizations. So and then we talked about dimensions and measures, and we know that dimensions are qualitative data and measures are quantitative data, just like we have here. We can see this tiny line here separating the dimensions and the measures. So, and we said that the dimensions are basically columns with information, with fields with information. And what do I mean by fields? Fields are simply columns. So, and the measures, they are quantitative data that contains values like the discount, profits, quantity, sales, and profit, and a few other things that we will add into them as we move further. So now, in the last class we had, we didn't name our our sheet. Now we can name our sheet in two ways. We can name our sheet from here or from the sheet name that has sheet 1. From the sheet name that has sheet 1. And we can either right click on it by clicking on rename, or we can double click on it. So once you double click on it, and let's say we want to name this first sheet sales by category, for example. Okay, let's say we name it sales by category. Please, if I'm too fast, kindly call my attention to it so that I can be slow or tone it down a bit. And please, if anybody raises up his or her hand, please kindly call my attention to it. Thank you very much. And if we rename our sheet from the space that has the sheet 1 and give it the name, we'll see that it takes effect on the sheet itself. So it takes effect on the sheet itself. So it is highly advisable we name our sheet from the bar below. And for example, we could actually, if we want to say, for example, let's say, okay, let's say we want to give our visualization color. Now, we'd see that these colors they're kind of they kind of look alike. So we can come into color. We can come into color. Once you come into color, you'd see edit colors. You see edit colors. Once we click on edit colors, we can see that the palette is automatic. So because the palette is automatic, that's the automatic color it gives to us. We can then go into the palette and select whatever color we feel is best for our visualizations. And now, by virtue of this color that we want to select, it depends on you. It depends on you. Depends on you. For example, let's say, sorry, let's say I want to choose let's say orange. Okay. Okay. Yeah, once I click on apply, we can see that it takes effect on the visualization even before we close the pop-up of the color palette. And so once I say, once I click OK, it changes the color of the visualization. And also, we would realize that um, let's say we bring our subcategory into the visualization, and we want to, for example, if our organization says that, okay, on this visualization, we only have sum of sales, can we have profit on the tooltip side. For example, if they want to know, okay, this is the sales amount, what is the profit amount? Now, on our tooltip area, just like I said the last time, we can always edit it to the to how to a way it can be self-explanatory. Yeah. For example, I could say that instead of having category, I could say product. I could say product. Then here, I could say product. Then come to sales and say total sales. And I want my sales, I want it to have a bigger font size. For example, let's say 14 is too much. Let's say 12. And I want it to have a distinct color. Whatever you do in the tooltip area, you have to highlight it. Okay, let's say I want more colors. I want something bluish, for example. Let's say okay. And I select the font. I use Tableau semi bold a lot. I say okay. We can see that our total sales has a distinct color. Now, however, if we want to add to the tooltip that we have, we can just like move, for example, if we want to add profit to we want to add profit to the tooltip, yeah, we would include the profit into the tooltip, then go back into our tooltip to insert it into the tooltip. So that way we have the profit added to the tooltip area. But we'll demo that. Before we go into that, before I demo that, now we would realize that on the color side, we have the opacity, we have the border. So we can always play around all of these things. We can always play around it. We can always play around it. We can we can decide to give it a black border depending on how the data analyst feels like the the data visualization can be better, so to say, can be better. Now, we would see that the last time we put our sales on label to to put each amount of the total sales on each of the bars. Now, let's format this visualization for a bit. Now we'll see that we have sales. We have on the y-axis, this is the y-axis, and this is the x-axis. Now on the y-axis, we'll see that we have the 800K, 600, 400K. Obviously, we don't need it. We don't need it because it's useless. If we'll be having the total amount of the total sales on each of the bars. Now, the next thing for us to do is to format our visualization. Now, before we format our visualization, all we have to do is right-click on any of the bars, and we'll select format. Are we still together?
Yep.
Thank you. Now, we'll click on format. it takes us to the formatting pane. Now, on the format part, we would see that we have the sheets, the rows, the columns, and we have every other thing under it. Now, if we want to format a particular information in Tableau, when we come to field, if you click on field, it will give us two items, which is the category and sum of sales, because those are what we have in this particular visualization. Those are what we have in this particular visualization. So now let's say we want to format our sum of sales. Now we come to the font. For example, I love to use Tableau semi-bold. That is my own preference. You as well can decide to use any other font that you feel is good. And let's say we leave it at 10. You'd see that as we are working on the sheet, we are seeing the effect on the visualization. And we leave our font color at black. Now, you can come to the alignment. However, if you feel like you can align the horizontal alignment direction, the wrap, the vertical, depending on your specializations or how you want it to be. But the alignment is okay for me. Now, one of the most important aspect of formatting is the numbers. Now, when we click on the numbers, we'll see automatic, number standard, number custom. But because we are dealing with currency, we want to work in between currency standard and currency custom. Now, if we select currency standard is a fixed type of currency on Tableau. You cannot format anything there. You just have to select. Just like what I have here. If you see, if we look at my visualization, you see that the total figure has changed because it's on a standard currency type. But most times we'll be working with currency custom, because with currency custom we can format our how we want the currency to look like. Now, most times we don't need 2 decimal places. We leave it at 0. And the display unit, if the money is in, if the sales is in thousands, if it is in millions, if it is in billions, and so on. But for the course of this class, the total sales is still in thousands. So once we select thousands, it automatically changes to 8. For example, the high sales is 836K, changes to 1,000. Now, the dollar is automatically in. But I think some currencies are always at the back. I think so. But let's say we want to, yeah, it's in prefix. Now, I'm using dollar. You can as well, if you're in the UK, you can change it to pounds. If you're in France, you can change it to euros. Depending on, and if you're in Nigeria, you can change it to naira. Depending on wherever you are. But for the course of this class, I'll be leaving it at dollars. So if yeah, the way it is now, it has changed to in case. So that way, all of the point something at the back of the main figure, they've all disappeared. Now, if I now decided to format the category, yeah, which is my x-axis, let's say I use a Tableau semi-bold. Yes, and I increase my fonts by 1, or let's say I leave it at 8, and bold. I select a more darker uh more darker color for the text. And however, we can select more colors if we want, because there are some visualizations that the text in the visualizations would have to like be in colors for them to stand out, to be more clear, depending on the visualization. So if we click on more colors, you can always get more colors and apply based on how we feel. Now, having done that, if we come to the lines just right beside the borders, if we come to the lines, we'll see that there are lots of lines on the visualizations, on the visualization. So most times in our workbook, there are different lines that come, they come up automatically. So if you want to remove the lines, most times all you need to do is come to the Format tab and come to the lines and remove all these lines. You select none, that's just it. We realize that most of these lines will disappear, and it will be as if we have just a blank Canva. So, well, there are no much lines on these particular visualizations, but as we go further, we would see a lot of visualizations with lots of lines, and then we can remove them and we can see the major effect of the visualization. Are we together?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the other time I talked about, so I'm closing the Format tab, and I'm coming back to the visualization. Now, the other time I talked about adding profit into our tooltip. So what we basically need to do is bring profit into details. Once we bring profit into detail, we go into our tooltip, then we click on insert. Now, if you look at the insert now, we would see that some profit is now a part of the tooltip, but don't forget, some profit is not part of the rows or the columns, but we want to see the sum of profit as regards to sales. So if we want to if we want to add profit to it, once we come into our tooltip, then we'll click on insert. We come to insert. And you select Jack, can you mute, please?
Oh, sorry.
So once we come into insert and we select our profit, it automatically add it into the tooltip. But don't forget, we've not given our profit any name. That is why it's showing like this. But however, we can come back to it and give it a name.
Sorry, I can't see the sum profit on my insert.
Okay, have you added it into your detail?
Oh, sorry, how did you go back to that screen that you're on now?
Okay,
I'm on
hold
the
on.
previous screen. You know the previous screen where you're doing the format, the
The format.
currencies and stuff. I'm
Now,
on that.
once you have you formatted your currency?
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah, I'm just literally on the
Okay,
page before.
okay, good. Now, look at your profit.
How do I get back onto that screen?
You would see a close button that looks like
On X.
X. Yeah, close it. Then it takes you back to the
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah. So just take your profit, hold and drop it on detail.
Yeah, done that.
Now, once you do that, then you come into your tooltip, then bring your cursor down, click on insert. Once you click on insert, you'll see some profit. Then click on it, and it will be added into the.
Yeah, I've got it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So now, let's say we give it total profit. Let's say we give it total profit. Then, to distinguish the profit from sales, we can give it another color. Okay, let's do green, because profit is always something very light. Yeah, so once we do that, we can close it, and automatically we see that, for example, the total sales and we can see the total profit on each category. And if we further break it down, we'll see that Tableau automatically imputes the total amount of each product on the bars, and we can see which product is doing very well on the market and which is not doing very well. So if the organization comes and say, okay, which of the product is not doing very well according to visualization, we know that fasteners is not making much of a profit. We know that followed by labels isn't doing very well. Just like that. Just like that. That is the major essence of visualizations to help organizations make informed decisions about their business. So now, let's open another sheet. Let's open another sheet. Let's open another sheet.
Please, may I quickly ask how you formatted the currency?
Okay, you bring your cursor to any of the bars. You right click, you select format. Once you select format, it takes you to this new pop-up window.
Yeah.
And you see a field button here. Once you select field, it gives you.
Yes, I can see that.
Yeah, then you select whatever you want to format. Let's say I want to format the profit now. I could say Tableau semi-bold. Okay. And my numbers. I talked about the custom the currency standard and the currency custom, but we'll be using the currency custom because we are able to. Sorry?
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you.
We are able to format the currency custom, unlike the currency standard. We cannot format it because it's a standard, it's just there. And we select the currency units to thousands, and we leave the prefix. However, you can change the prefix to the currency of where you are, but make sure you close the decimal places to 0.
Yeah, I've got it. Thank you.
Okay. So once we do that, we'll see that it will take effect on the.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Can close the format button. Now let's open another. Let's open another sheet. Sheet 2. Now, on this sheet, we want to demo profit by the different category. Now, just like we did in the former in the first visualization, let's bring our item into columns, into the column. Then we'll come to bring our profit into the rows. So automatically it gives us the profit breakdown of the different categories. And if we further break it down, gives us profit of the subcategories. Now we see that bookcases is not making any profit. It's in loss. We'll see that tables is in loss, is in minus.
Can you please remind me how you further broke it down?
Okay, once you bring your category or your items into the column, you see a plus icon just behind your category.
I got you. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So once we further break it down, it gives us an overview of the profit. Now, if we decide to, for example, if we come to our tooltip, okay, if we come into our tooltip, we would see that on the tooltip, we have category and the subcategory on the tooltip automatically, because that's what we have on our sheet, and we can, see the category of the product, the subcategory, and the profit of that particular product. So now, if we want to distinguish our profit, we can as well give it.
Just a quick question. Did you do anything with the tooltip, or you just opened it? I didn't see you do anything.
This is the tooltip icon. Can you see? So once you select it, I didn't do anything on it actually.
Yeah, that's what I just.
To show us the items that are inside.
Okay.
And I closed it. Now, if we bring our profit into the color palette, we can then enter into the color palette to format it. And then we can select whatever color we want to select. And then we can as well go into the advanced and give it some certain instructions. And once we do that, we can then close and apply. Once we apply, we'll see the application of what we've done.
Sorry, just a quick question.
Okay.
So when I took my profits and moved it to the color where you have the color.
Yes.
Yeah, so I dropped it there. So I'm trying to have this your page opened. I don't know where to get the editing of the color.
The editing of the what? Of the column.
The colors. Yeah, this
Okay.
page you're editing the colors from.
Okay. Have you moved your profits to the color palette here? Just like I have.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
you have to come to this color to click on it and you see edit colors.
Okay.
Then you come and select the color of your choice and you apply.
Okay.
And that's it. And then so we can further bring our profit to label, and we can then remove the y-axis. After removing the y-axis, then we can now come to formatting our visualization. And the major thing we want to format is the amount and the display units in case, and that's it. Then we can further format the information below. once we select the font size, the font color,
Sorry, how did you get to that format category again? Sorry.
okay, just right click on any of the bars. You see the format.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, you mentioned something about y-axis. How did you do that one?
Okay, the thing is, when you are working with bars, you see this side, this is your y-axis, and you see this side is your x-axis.
Okay.
You get it now. So this furniture, office supplies, technologies, they are on the x-axis of the bars. Why the 18K, 122, 145Ks, they are on the y-axis of the bars. So for example, if we have any, let's say we are working with a particular chart, and you want to format the y-axis, or you want to format the x-axis, or you want to put any information on the y-axis or the x-axis. You know that if you want to do anything on the y-axis, you know, you are working on things on this side. And if you want to work on the x-axis, you know that you're working on this side. Is that clear?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So, yes, I formatted the x-axis, the item names. Now we want to rename our sheet. So we can name this sheet profit by category. And like I said the other time, once we rename it and click our enter button, it changes automatically. Now we can then further come into this. If we want to edit the sheet name, maybe the font size, the font color, all we need to do is double click on the sheet itself. Now, if for example we want to add anything to the sheet name, if you want to add anything to the sheet name, all we need to do is either come to this font. For example, let's say I want to add a subcategory to the sheet name. Once I click on apply, it automatically adds to the sheet name, because this sheet name we will have here is a representation of profit by category. Then if we want to now further format it, then we have to like to highlight it and then do whatever we want to do, and we click apply, and it further changes into whatever we want to give it. And the same thing applies if we want to add something before the profit by category. For example, if I say visualization of, if I click apply, it automatically take effect. So meaning that once you tamper with this, you have tampered with the sheet name. So once we tamper with it, with that, we have tampered with the sheet name. So that's how we can name our sheet. Then we can further rename our sheet, or we can further format our sheet name, I can come to here and to the first visualization we had and just format it, give it same thing, and that's it. So are we together? Are we on the same space?
Yep. We just been change the name of the category, right?
What? Can you come again, please?
Yeah, sorry. I would just change the name of the category at the moment, yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
asking.
And then we'll see this category on our visualization. All we need to do is right click on it and we'll hide it because we're not using it. Hide the field labels for columns. So once we hide that, it gives our visualization. It makes it more appealing to the eyes. More appealing to the eyes. Okay. And then we can further remove the lines. Can further remove the lines as we want. Because personally, I don't like to see any lines on my visualization. Okay. Yep. Okay. So moving on. Let's open another new sheet. Let's open another new sheet. Now, on this new sheet, we want to demo. We want to work on map. Want to work on map. Now, this is an essential part of every visualization because, for example, if you are in an organization that has or that they have lots of branches in different countries, maybe a multinational, and they have different sources of incomes that data comes in from different sources, and they want to, they want you to visualize this information using the map to see what part of the country is the most sales or is the most profit if they want to do that. Now, the very first thing we want to do when it comes to map is we want to work with our location. So the very first thing we want to do is pick our map and drop it inside the Canva. Now, once you drop it inside the Canva, Tableau sees the longitude and the latitude of the information, and it automatically checks the data. It sees the country that the data is from, and it gives an indicator or an indication, as the case may be. Now we can see that this tiny blue
Sorry,
okay.
may I ask? Yeah, you said you pick the map and drop it in the
Yes.
Canva. I don't
Let me
know.
take it again. Now
I can see the map somewhere.
you pick location
Okay.
because we are working with map. Pick your location, drop it on the Canva.
Okay.
Yes. Once you drop it, we should be on the same screen. Now, don't forget, in our location, we have country, the region, the state, city, and postal code. Now, if, for example, if there is a plus button just by the country. Once we select it, it automatically breaks it down. It breaks it down into region level. It breaks it down into region level. Yeah, it breaks it down into region level. Now, if we further break it down, it breaks it down into state level. If we move again to city level, and if we move again to postal code. But now, want to work with the region. Want to work with the region. Now, if you look at, there is a button called marks, and under the marks you see automatic. If you click on the button right in front of the automatic, you would see a lot of information here. For example, if let's say as we are working on this map, if we want to work with a bar, we want to work with a line, with area, square, circle. Let's say we selected circle now, because Tableau has given us 4 circles. It automatically sees it as a circle. Now, if we move further down to select map, to change that circle to map, we'd see that Tableau has created something like a map for us. That's created something like a map, and on the map, we can see that it's more like 4, and the reason is it has seen the different region on the map. If it wasn't seeing the regions, it would be like this. But if we break it down, it has broken it down into region. It has broken it down into region. Now, the first thing we want to do is let us rename our sheet to sales by geographical region. Let's say sales by geographical region. Yes. Now, to further make our visualization, to further help it make sense, if we come to the region and move it to color, it will give the states, the regions, it will give them different colors. It will give them different colors. It will assign a color to each of the regions. Now, if we come into the region and let's say we adjust our opacity, if we adjust our opacity, please, a minute, please. Yeah, guys, sorry, I'm back. Now, if we adjust the opacity of the region, we'll see that it has changed the color of the map. However, let's bring back our opacity. Now, if we want to label our map, all we have to do is bring our region back to label. Now, we'll see that it automatically labels it into west, the west central, the south, and the east. And then let's say, okay, let's further break it down. We'll see that it has,
So when I brought my region back to the label, it took off the color. So how did you retain yours?
it's what?
It took off the color. How did you retain your color still on the region?
Well, it shouldn't. Let me take it back. Okay. Okay. Now, when we
Excuse me, can
okay,
you go just a step back before you got this color in the first place?
okay, step back. Okay. Is it good now?
Mine is not coming. How you were able to put the color in the first place was, I don't know how you got here. So I thought mine was it's just showing blank and dots.
Mine also is not showing any map.
Okay. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Okay. Now first thing we did was we opened a new sheet. We open a new sheet. Then we bring our location into the Canva. Without doing anything, this is what Tableau sees. Without doing anything, this is what Tableau sees. Now, I said we should break it down into region just by clicking on the plus sign in front of the region. Yeah. Then we further break it down into states and into cities. Now, Tableau sees all of this as a circle, indicating the number of regions, the number of states, and number of cities in the data set. Now, if we, I'm closing it up now. Now, if we look at this place that has marks, I said if we click on this button here, we click on this button and select map, it automatically changes it into a map. And it divides it into the different regions that are in the data set. Did you get to this place?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you repeat that, please? Sorry, can you repeat that, please?
Okay, I will. Tableau sees the data when we imputed or when we selected our location field, it sees it as a circle. That is why we have one circle here. Now, if we further break it down, it sees the 4 regions in the data set. Yeah. Now, because it is still on automatic and we can see a circle just beside the automatic, once we click on the button right in front of it and select map, it automatically breaks down into the regions that are in the data set. Now, if we further break it down, it breaks it down into, it separates the different cities. It puts them into their respective regions. Okay. Now, if we now move our region, if we move it into color to give the data set, to give the regions different colors, this is what we should have because it has given it different colors. Yeah. So I now said, if we now bring back our region into label, to label the different regions that we have, this is what we will have. It will label the different regions. Now, if we come to the color palette and reduce our opacity, we can now see the different states that are under each of those regions. Are we still together?
Yes.
Okay. Now, we have labeled our region. We have labeled our region. Now, what do we want to do with this map now? Let's say we want to see the different sales on each region. All we have to do is bring our sales. We can bring it to size. If we bring it to size, it's not going to do anything. But if we change it back to automatic, yeah, we'll see that let's increase the size a bit. We'll see that the sales is supposed to be it's supposed to the circles are supposed to show in different sizes. As we can see that the west and the east, they are kind of close, they are kind of big, and the central and south are kind of small. They are kind of small. So it's not really appealing to the eyes. It's not really giving us what we want. Yeah. Then we have to like bring it back to map. Bring it back to map. Then we remove the cells from the size. The way you can remove whatever you might have done is just drag it and take it out like this. It will be off. Okay, it will be off. So, okay. So we have our region on color and we have our region on label. Yes. So I will reduce the size. I'll reduce the size. So now, if we now bring our sales to label, we can now see that it has labeled the different regions with the number of the sales, with the sum sales. It has labeled each region with their total sum of sales. So we can then decide that okay, if I'll be presenting this map on the dashboard, then I can now decide to say, okay, let me have let's say I want to have the sales by the different regions. Now we want to like swap it, and then we want to ascend or descend it according to how much each sales is worth. Now we can see that west and east, they are somehow close in terms of the amount of sales, and central and south, they are the least. So if I want, for example, present this map to the stakeholders of my organization, I can if for example I want to put all of this on a dashboard, I can back it up with this for them to see the different amount of the sales. I can back it up with something like this. I can further edit this and make it look more appealing to the eyes. Make it look more appealing to the eyes. But now, let's say we want to edit this map for a bit. Let's say we want to edit this map for a bit. We can come to map, click on map. Then let's come to the background layers. If we select the background layer, yes. Let's say we want to change this light to dark so that our map can be distinct. Let's say dark. And yeah, let's look at the washout percentage. Let's see what it can do. We'll see that the other. Then we can further go down to see what we can do on the visualization. But really, there is not much of a thing that we can do there. Okay. So let's say we have the map like this. Yes, and then we can then decide to, if we decide to further break it down into states, we'll see the total amount of sales of each state on the data. So allowing us to have an overview of the map and their different sales. And then we can then decide to, like, okay, let me format my map. Let's say we come to a format field, just like we did the other time. If we want to format the sum sales, we can come to currency custom. Yes. So display units to case. Can format our font and a few other things. So I would advise us to take our time to play around the map. There are a lot of things we can do with the map. We can always format it and come to the format button. See what we can do with it, because as we format it, it keeps it shows on the map, and we can see the effect of whatever we are doing. So with this, okay, so let's rename our map. Let's rename our map. Let's rename it to sales by geographical region. So far we have visualized four got different visualizations. So the next thing we want to do now is we want to save our work to cloud. Are we together? Are we on the same page?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Want to save our work to cloud. Then we'll come to save to Tableau public as. Let's see if I select save. Okay, to come to my system. So, okay, let's say save to Tableau public. Okay, your connection for timeout. Okay. Okay, let me close this. Yeah, we can just come to save us to public, Tableau public. It will bring us back to the sign-in page. Yes, we have named it before. So once we click on save, yes, we can always overwrite what we have before. Just select yes. So it will overwrite and update it. So that way our job is saved to cloud and we can always go back to pick it there. And once it saves, it takes us to the cloud for us to see our visualization. So with this, we'll be calling it a day for today, and we'll see next week. Is there any question? Is there any question? Any problem? If there is any, please, you can talk about it before we call it a day.
So yeah, just a quick one. In regards to see that map you're on right now, sales by category. Is there a way you can able to see what the, for example, you had furniture, chairs, tables. So if let's say if I was to highlight West 725,000 K sales, but on the map, are you able to see what sold well on the map?
Okay, so on the map,
Yeah, so in there. So yeah, so let's say if I say West 725,000, yeah, I'm able to is it like a pie chart to see what makes up the sales of 75,000?
yeah, if you break it down, if you further break it down by states, you would see the different sales in each of those countries by states. And if you reduce the opacity, you'll see the different states just under the, for example, you can see that Montana has 6K and is in West. Wyoming has 2K, is in West. Nevada does not have anything. Utah has 11K, is in West. Same thing applies to others.
Yeah, but then what products are they?
Well, for the products, you would have to like come back to the different sales by category. Because
Okay.
when you are working with the map, you just want to see, for example, you want to see the different regions.
Yeah.
Because the map is not just the only visualization you would present on your dashboard. Of course, you present the sales by category, you present the profit by category. They will see your stakeholders will see the different profits on the chart, and if you further break it down, they would see each of the profit, and they would see the different amount of their product. So because they have different offices in different places around the world, Tableau will split all of these informations into different regions based on the data set. Now, once it does that, it just gives you the total amount from a particular region, from a particular state, and they know which part of the world they are making the most amount of profit from, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but then how can I say? See, we said central there. Yeah? There's 170K sales. So let's say if I sell chairs and I know that my biggest market is here, where do I go to see that? Okay, in this region, the 170K, 20% of it was 𝐻𝐍𝐍. How can I tell that?
Then you have to come to your profit by category, because that's what shows your profit on each of the products. Or if you come to your sales, you can see, for example, we see that binders is making 203. We see that storage is making 224.
Yeah, but then how do I know which areas that's in?
How do you know what?
What area? Like what area? So if it's saying to me that 𝐻𝐍𝐍 make 328K, 328,000, well, yeah, 328K. How do I know what regions that those 𝐻𝐍𝐍 are selling?
Okay, well, to be honest with you, the major thing is it depends on which part of the world you are selling that particular product. But if you have the product all around the world, on the map, Tableau will just, because we are working with longitude and latitude, it would actually work on the sum of the total sales and give you that the information. However, it won't give you that on the map. However, on the sales part, it would give you. However, in the data set, you can actually have what you are talking about. In the data set, when data are being recorded, it will be recorded that, for example, let's say in England, you're selling chairs. Let's say somewhere in the US, you're selling chairs. They would have put in the data set that, for example, £2 was made on this chair in England. The country location would have been put there, and in the US, the country location would have been put there, maybe by states or by the country itself. So if we want to break it down by the category, Tableau can actually break it down based on the different locations. But with this particular data set that we're with, it's a data set for just an organization in the US only. But don't forget, the recording of the data set in the Excel sheet will carry all of this information. So if we have such information, we would be able to break it down on Tableau.
Okay, I'm with you. I get it. Okay, no, thank you for that. Thanks.
You're welcome. So is there any other person? Any other question? Okay. In the absence of none, thank you for joining, and I would see you next week. If there will be any other questions,